Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in today to the Probate Nurse Podcast. My name is Melanie, and today we have a very, very special guest for you. Her name is Alyssa Rakovich, and she's actually the Director of Partnerships with Estate Registry, and it's an online vault, if you will, for estate planning assistance. So welcome to the show, Alyssa. How are you?
Hi, thanks, Melanie. Excited to be with you.
Yeah, really excited to see you too. And we have a lot of information to share today with our clients. So really happy to have you here. So basically, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've been in finance and wealth management for about 25 years, and then we want to talk about what led you to doing what you're doing now. So fill us in a little
Sure.
bit.
I started by putting the coffee and the cookies out for my father's retirement rollover seminars. So I knew more about 72T distributions and retirement planning than most 12-year-olds ever should. So I grew up
Ah,
in financial services and wealth management, and after being involved in it on both sides as an advisor that had her own practice, to being a manager and running an office
mm,
globally and institutionally for Morgan Stanley, I was able to take a different step where now I can use my relationships in the financial services world to bring some resources to families and advisors and the families they serve.
and they really need this. What you have right here is so, so needed. Your background is absolutely perfect for this, and what a great segue into this business. So tell us a little bit about the estate registry. What is
Sure.
it? And I know there's three arms to it, so I'd like to discuss each one, but what led you to that?
So the estate registry started off with there was a request for proposal out of the UK, and it dealt with deceased account management. You know, when you lose a loved one and someone passes away, the executor is tasked, or the survivors, right, are tasked with
Sure.
these arduous tasks of reaching out and
Mhm.
closing these accounts. And we've all had relationships or friends or loved ones where we see them pop up with their birthdays after they've been
Sure.
deceased on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Mm.
So the first leg of this was to create a notification system where we could streamline the notification process of someone who passes away.
Mm. Okay.
After we completed that software with the notification, we realized we only solved for half the problem, because how do you know who to notify? And some people are super organized. My
Mhm.
husband, his dad, they're an Italian family. So we have dinners, family dinners. And after a glass of wine or two, his dad, "Psst, come on," because he's the eldest son, brings him in the back bedroom and
Mm.
says, "See all this?" And it's boxes and files and boxes of files. And he's like, "Everything you need is right in here." He's like, "Dad, I don't want to talk about that now." But he said, if
Wow.
it's on my father's mind, it's probably on other people's minds, that they
Sure.
want to make sure whoever they've nominated as executor
Mhm.
understands where those things are. And
Mhm.
I know you've had family relationships, Melanie, and when people nominate you and they say appoint you as the executor, at first you're, wow, that's such an honor. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is
Complete
a lot of
overwhelm.
work.
Complete. Complete. And if you don't have something like this in place, taking your family back to the living room or the kitchen and pulling this box out, where do you start? We need passwords. We need, the powers of attorney. We need all of these different papers. So this is really, really interesting. And I love this. I really love this. So that's what led you to that. So tell us a little bit about, okay, so there's three arms to it. So fill us in a little bit about each one, if you can.
And and so when we're working, like you were saying, how there are passwords and all these things to it, with the digital vault, when we work with professional service providers, so we'll work directly with realtors or wealth advisors or estate planning or CPAs,
Mhm. Oh,
attorneys,
got
even
it.
HR, human resource directors, right? Because what we found is that
Mm,
if people don't have the concern of their finances, they're more productive employees. So it's a wonderful benefit to offer your
mm,
employees to have
mm,
everything organized in one place. And what we find a lot of times is the clients of the financial advisor or the clients of the CPA or the client of the estate planning attorney. They go, well, you'll just take care of that for my family. You'll just help them. And the advisor's like, well, I can help them in the area that I control, but I don't know all of the other stuff like your Costco memberships and your travel and rewards points and all of the bills that you pay, right? All of your streaming services. So we fill those gaps.
Okay. That is amazing to have it all in one place, and it's online, easily accessible, which is absolutely wonderful. So I would have to say would be like a pre-planning type of estate planning type of a service that you offer to people. And I just wanted to bring this up. We have the Legacy Now. There's a little brochure that Alyssa and I use when we're out in the public doing community service and educating the public about estate planning needs. This is really nice, and it comes right up the front. Organize and store all of your account and asset info to securely share it with your loved ones, all in one place. And it's a resource for you now and for your loved ones later. And it really just brings peace of mind. Like you said, it's just really all about that and knowing where to find it when
and
you're
what sets us apart, what truly sets us apart from other digital vaults, if you will, besides being very thorough and built on blockchain technology. And what does it mean to be blockchain technology built on this Web3 development? Because that's a level of security where even our developers and coders cannot access this information. A lot of the vaults out there are owned by the vault companies. This is owned by the client. So whoever opens the vault, it's their vault. All the data is theirs and owned by them, controlled by them. The client can then give the ability for a financial advisor or an estate planning attorney or a CPA or even children access to see certain areas or aspects of the vault. So they may want to share family photos and family videos of vacations with their families. So they'll give them access to those areas. And other access areas might be powers of attorney or healthcare directives.
Yeah, the healthcare directives and POAs, but not knowing, I mean, I didn't really realize that you could actually put your family photos and, digital things like that into the vault. Talk about protection and having access to that, not looking for those things when you are traumatized after loss. It is absolutely amazing.
The one thing you don't want to do is lose all of your family photos, because Google will now no longer give you access to your one's account. And unless you hire a hacker to break in and get those passwords, all that information can be lost.
And I agree with you on that. And I use something called PhotoMine, and I know that, it's a 2-year subscription and you have all of your photos in there. You can redo your photos on there. But if you don't pay that fee, after 2 years, everything is gone and you've lost it. So what a great service for families. I really, really like that. So one of the things that we deal with our clients who have gone through loss is they need money. They need money. And a lot of my clients who have inherited a home or the home is going through probate, they need some money to actually carry them from now to when that house closes. And as you and I both know, in probate, it could be months to a couple of years. So explain to us a little bit about how you can assist those clients with your program called Inherit Now. This is really wild. This is great.
So Inherit Now is an actual inheritance advance. So it's not a loan. There's no money that is ever paid back, and there are no qualifications. So there's no knockout procedure or no, your credit score isn't high enough so you don't qualify. All you need to qualify is having filed for probate. And where we find this very successful, and a lot of testimonials from our very pleased clients come from, needing some money up front prior to probate closing, because maybe the biggest asset is the house or property. And in order for that piece of property or that home to be sold, they need $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 up front to fix it up. And rarely do you have the means to just come out of pocket for that fixer upper, right? For those emergencies. So
Sure.
it offers that peace of mind and that ability to access cash. And then all we do is we provide them the money up front
Mm,
and we take that portion off the back end. So when the
okay.
estate pays, we get
Hmm.
we that portion that we pay them, we step in and we get
Hmm.
reimbursed then.
Great. So you're saying on the back end, then, for people who don't really understand, that would be after a home sells and closes, correct?
Correct. So we
Oh.
take all of the risk. So after
Hmm.
probate closes, we get paid. So we
Love
actually
it.
run the risk of waiting and taking all that time and
Mm-hmm.
all of the risk, if you will. For example, if their collateral is a stock portfolio, right? If their collateral is a home, equity in a home,
Mm-hmm.
if those prices go down, we run the risk with valuation.
Ah,
So we have to do our due diligence and manage that
yes, you
process, but it's
do.
great for people who need liquidity
Mm-hmm.
quick. And we find it where
Mm-hmm.
they might need it to make repairs to sell a home more quickly, because as you know, time is money. So if you can get
Yes,
that
it
house on
is.
the market quickly,
Yes.
you start that clock going faster.
Mhm. Yeah, time really is money, and there's so much that goes into it too. When you own a home, you might have, maybe there's a mortgage still on that home. Maybe you have an HOA, or, deeds and different things like that, or you have to do your lawn and maintenance. And a lot of families are not equipped to do two mortgages, let alone one. So it really does provide a great service for clients in need staff. So how long did you say that it would take if someone needed that kind of money and they came to you? How long would that take to do?
It can take, as soon as they get approved, it's in
Mhm.
their account within 48 hours,
Oh,
the funds.
wow.
It's
Okay.
very quick. And again, it's after probate has been filed. So once
Okay,
they
so
file the
after probate
probate,
is filed.
as long as they have a probate number,
Mhm.
we can start working and helping.
Okay, great. So you'll need that probate case number in order to get started. And then once you do that paperwork, it's really just a matter of like a day or two, sounds
And
like.
we have an excellent service
Right.
team, and they hold their hand and walk them through
Mhm.
every step of the way.
I love
We
it.
have attorneys on staff that work directly with their attorneys.
Hmm.
So the attorneys can speak directly with one another. They can speak with the clients,
Love
and
it.
we can work through that process expeditiously.
I love that. And because usually when people need that funding, they need it now. They need it
Yes.
yesterday. They're really kind of finding themselves in a bind. So this is a
Some people need
wonderful
it for
service.
college education for their kids, or even sometimes
Okay.
they want to pay off, high interest rate debt.
Which is really smart. It's great. Oh, I really like that. So, next question for you. We have a lot of questions to ask, and I just really want to kind of squeeze these in our little half hour that we have together. So, basically, how does the state registry's cloud-based tools and services facilitate intergenerational estate management? And what sets them apart from traditional estate management platforms that are available?
Sure. Well, we're very much in our lane. We're not trying to
Okay.
take um, any, we don't create wills, we don't create trusts, we don't create a healthcare
Okay.
power of attorney.
Okay.
Um, the attorneys do their work. So estate planning is still estate planning. The
Got
documents can then be stored in
it.
our digital vault. Wealth managers, they do the estate valuations. The wealth
Mhm.
advisors run estate reviews where they say if they're going to be subject to tax, etc. So
Mm.
we don't get involved in any of that
Okay.
estate management process. But what we do is we cover the gap areas where the
Mhm.
advisor says, the client goes to the advisor and says, well, you'll just help my son or daughter, whoever the executor is, we'll take care of it all for them. And the advisor goes, well, we can do the insurance and the accounts that we hold and help transition with those. But for that next generation, it really helps if the advisor can start a relationship with
Mhm.
their son or daughter earlier on. And
Sure.
by filling the gaps, it's all of their online footprint. So if they have a company, it's their
Mhm.
GoDaddy URL. Because a lot of
Mm.
times, even the attorneys don't think about the URL, and you don't want to
Right.
lose your website to your competitor because you forgot to pay the
Oh,
GoDaddy fee, right? So it's little things like that where we
ah,
come in and we fill in the gaps
that's
and the
really
estate
wonderful. So
management.
many things can get lost, and it's just great. So it really does open up, and it makes
And
us all look
sometimes
at.
And sometimes people think diversification is
Mm,
having an account with your wife's name on it with $100,000 CD at a local bank, which is fine, but that can then become a probate issue because now you have a single name account,
yeah.
right, with a CD in it that's above a certain limit and it causes a probate issue. So that's one more
Mm,
thing that would cause the estate, even if you've done trusts and even if you've done all that work,
mhm.
if you don't title everything properly.
Sure.
So what our tool does in a very easy manner is it allows the advisor, the financial advisor, or even the estate planning attorney or CPA to review the situation with the client and identify, look, this could be a probate issue. This
Mm,
titling this way could be a probate issue. If you have more than
okay.
3 cars, right? 2 cars pass without
Sure.
probate, but if you have a third vehicle, that potentially could be a probate issue.
Wow.
So just identifying so you can talk through situations,
Hmm.
and then bring in the next generation at an earlier
Exactly.
stage. And with our
Exactly.
notification resource, that's
Mhm.
where we really see that next generation. $87 trillion is transitioning over the next 30 years to future generations.
Mhm.
And that transition is going to be taking place. And a lot of advisors and estate planning attorneys, CPAs, they
Mhm.
work with these families for years. And then at the death of the second spouse, the children don't really have maybe the relationship that their parents had with that advisor.
Mhm.
But if at
Mhm.
that meaningful point where the child is grieving the loss of their parent, this advisor or this professional service provider can bring them into their office and take off their plate the making
Mm.
all of those painful phone calls, saying again and again, please close
Oh,
this account. My mother passed away. Please
yes.
close this account. And being on hold with the streaming
Yeah.
services and the phone
Yeah.
company and all those different
Mm.
outlets. Think of the relationship building. You're a lot more than stocks, bonds, and cash at that point.
Mhm. I love the fact that you mentioned that it really, when people are traumatized, they've just lost a family member, a loved one, and just knowing that this is going to relieve that, and all the notifications are done for you. And I can tell you, after my brother passed away and after my father did, picking up that phone one after the other, and like you said, being on hold and waiting and the frustration, and you start welling up with the emotion. It's so incredible. So this is a wonderful tool. And I love the fact that it is intergenerational, and it really makes like ourselves and our children think about what they need to do to protect their assets that are coming with this great transfer of wealth that's taking place with the baby boomers. It's just outstanding what's coming our way. This is a fantastic tool. So really quickly, guys, just a little housekeeping. This is the Probate Nurse Podcast, and I'm Melanie. And today we do this every Thursday. We drop a new video every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on YouTube, and hope you join us for that if you're interested in learning more about senior transitions, estate planning, selling a home, anything that has to deal with the senior community. And today we're talking with Alyssa Rakovich. So she is with Estate Registry and LegacyNOW. So Alyssa, can you share some success stories? I mean, just listening to what you have to say, I know you have
Sure.
a ton of incredible testimonials and a lot of great stories to tell. So give us one at least that really dove in and someone just absolutely loved what you did for them.
Sure. I think the greatest ones on the inherent now side are when the families are at a loss. They don't know what to do. They
Mhm.
don't have the funds or the financial prowess to um, to do what needs to be done in a timely fashion,
Mhm.
and they may not be as savvy financially. They're dealing with the probate process. It's a frustrating process, and they're not looking, they're looking down the road at 12 to 18 months maybe before
Sure.
they're going to see any light at the end of the tunnel from a
Mhm.
financial standpoint. So to be able to step in and alleviate the stress and the risk, because it truly is risk,
It
uh,
is.
when they feel that they can't do anything.
Mhm.
And when somebody feels that stress, sometimes the tendency is to do nothing. And in
Mhm.
real estate, what happens when you own a property, right? You've inherited a property and you do nothing.
Mm.
How does that end, Melanie? You could probably address that.
Oh, not very well. I mean, it just doesn't end well. Number one, if you're not paying the mortgage, we know what happens with that. We go into pre-foreclosure, then we go into foreclosure. So there's just so many different things that can happen. Code violations. The lawn's not getting mowed. The home looks like it's completely vacant. You can have squatters move in. We know there are so many different things that can happen. And just to have this alleviated is incredible.
Right. So we've saved families from those
Yes.
situations by
Mhm,
providing that capital
mhm,
stage when they needed it most of
mhm,
all. And I think that's the key, being able to provide a solution when someone needs it
mhm.
most of all.
Love it. Love it. And going through loss like that, people really need the funding, they need the assistance. And having this type of service in place, to me, it's almost like it's a birthday gift, a Christmas gift. I think it'd be great as a wedding gift, to gift this to somebody. And you had mentioned earlier too that your realtor agents that you work with, they actually give this as a closing gift. So how does that work?
So the estate registry has the three tools, the three resources,
Hmm.
and the Legacy Now is that while you're alive resource. The notification is
Hmm.
after you pass away resource, and the Inherit Now is the after you file for probate. So those are sort of the three stages of life we cover in the
Hmm.
transitions. And what we find with realtors and wealth advisors, estate planning attorneys, they
Hmm.
they have clients that come to them usually in transition periods of life. And that's usually when a client
Hmm.
is most open to organizing their life.
Hmm.
And it's a wonderful gift to provide
Yeah.
somebody a legacy plan. And we truly feel that everyone deserves a legacy plan. Everyone should be able to have that peace of
Hmm.
mind. So closing documents from the sale can be uploaded. Mortgage
Oh.
information can be uploaded. All of their insurance documents can be uploaded. So it's a start to begin that process. And every time
Mm-hmm.
they open their vault, they can think of the wonderful work you did for them as a
Mm-hmm.
realtor. So we have a lot of them providing those to clients as a gift. And
It's a
we can work
wonderful
with
gift.
companies on discounted rates. So
Hmm.
when we work with a client, when it's a direct consumer,
Hmm.
it's more of a $80 a year vault fee.
Okay.
When we work with professional service providers that have multiple clients that work with us with their client base, we provide discounted rates. So we'd love to work with
Beautiful.
the providers and professional service providers out there. There are
Hmm.
marketing opportunities where we can
Hmm.
co-brand and market.
Hmm.
So we just look forward to the opportunity of sharing these resources with the professional service providers
Yeah.
so that we can get it into more people's hands.
Yeah.
One of the things that's the real difference is our digital vault, our Legacy Now product provides that notification upon death. So you
Mm.
don't ever have to type in all those account numbers or find them or go back and look to break into their computer to get the passwords. It's already built in. Everything from their
Yeah.
prescription drugs, to their
Hmm.
donations, to their digital footprint. And that's really meaningful. And it helps these families in a
Mm.
time of bereavement when they
Mm.
could really use that peace
Mm.
of mind.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Peace of mind is everything. Say that over and over again. So we know that, technology changes so quickly. So how does your team stay abreast with the services and the changing needs of your users?
Sure. And that's a great question. Security is number one. And that's
Okay.
why our product is built on blockchain technology, which is the most secure Web3 based technology. And we have a
Okay.
white paper that addresses all of our security and the technology behind it. Where we see this going in the future is a place where we build upon. So we create stories for our families where it's tell me about the time when, right? So you
Yeah.
start beginning more of your memoirs. We also look to the future generations
Mm.
where we see this as almost evolving to a Web 4 and a
Mm.
virtual reality technology
Oh,
for the
wow.
next generation, because that would be going through your digital vault and seeing your jewelry and your coins and walking into your real estate
Wow.
property, right? And seeing your home and your
Wow.
cars. So there are so many capabilities as we build this out. But really it comes back to prices and anything that has uh, uh, a time or a price associated with it, where we could provide you, maybe you have a car loan or an auto loan with XYZ company, there's a term or condition or price that you qualify that would be better. So anything that has a term, a price, or a condition that could better your life, we would like to be able to bring that to people. And that's down the road, but that's the vision, because it's their data. They would be able to say, this is us, and what could we qualify for, and how could you make our life better?
Mm. Pretty interesting stuff there. And I love the fact that, it's ever evolving and it changes. As humans, we have to do our estate planning and we need to check it at least once a year. So with that, I mean, this will keep you kind of on point too.
Well, and we live in
With
Florida,
updating.
and we evacuate for hurricanes. So how great is it on your phone to have all of your
Yeah.
information to file your claim while you've evacuated, right? So having it all at your fingertips. I have my stepson will call and need his contacts reordered. I can go right to my app on my phone, and there's our vision plan. So it gives you that level
Okay.
of organization where
Yes.
everything's in one place where it's accessible.
Mm. I love that. You're on the go and you have it right there at your fingertips. This is amazing. And to have that much information that you can locate and get to quickly on a cell phone or laptop, whatever you grab and run with is pretty outstanding. So we talked a little bit about the cost, and I know that you have um, actually kept your prices very, very low. And I think you said you're doing something for like $4.99 a month or something. Can you just kind of refresh my
Yes, so
mind on
what
that?
we'd like to be able to work with everyone. Everyone deserves a legacy plan. It shouldn't just be for C-suite employees,
Right.
and legacy plan is for everybody. So
Mhm.
um, if whatever it is that you have as far as possessions, you want to have a will. I think it's really
Mhm.
important for everyone to have a will,
Mm.
and it's really important to have a healthcare directive, something that says what
Yes.
and how you want to be treated, right? And
Your
what you
power of
want to,
attorney. Mhm.
right? So, and and then if you have assets like homes or cars or
Mhm.
anything like that, bank accounts, it's really important to specify. And what this vault does is it gives you an outlet. I know for my personal,
Mhm.
um, I can barely keep track with the streaming services that I forget that I've signed up. So do I have
Pages
Netflix?
of passwords.
Have HBO Max, like which one am I paying for? So it can help just keep you on a
Mhm.
budget, quite frankly, because you can say, oh, I need to cancel that streaming
I
service, and
love
oh, I
it.
need to. So just by that level of organization can help.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great service, keeping us organized. And you mentioned that you have this affiliate program and that you can do some white labeling. So for people who don't really understand that, kind of fill us in on that, because I'm working with you on this as well. And providing this is something to my clients that I work with, whether, the remainder people and the younger people who would like to move forward with their estate planning or with assisting family members who've passed away. So how does that
Sure.
work?
So on our notification
Mhm.
resource with some organizations, they would like to be able to streamline the process. So people reporting directly to them, because maybe they don't do a good job of resolving those
Mm.
deceased accounts. We can put together a website or a link
Mhm.
or a landing page for their company for
Okay,
all of their clients to go to
got
report
it.
on that site. So that's one way, and that's through our Notify
Mhm.
Now. They could then continue once they're on that page, not only to just notify that company,
Mhm.
but then they could go through the litany of other companies that they need to report to as well.
Wow.
So what we've offered there is we will white label that solution or private label that solution
Mm.
company, and they can offer it to their clients for free. And then there would be a charge of maybe $5.99 for the rest of everything else they want to notify. So it
Incredible.
really gives that company a great way to work with their clients. The other way we do this is on the LegacyNOW, the digital vault. We can co-brand. So LegacyNOW, sponsored by or brought to you by, and it's your company as well.
Mhm.
So as you provide it to your clients, you're getting the advertising with every vault that you're providing. And then for
Mhm.
professional service providers, in some cases like wealth managers or estate planning attorneys or
Mm.
human resource directors, they may want a dashboard. So we provide them
Okay.
a dashboard to
Mhm.
showcase all of the clients that have signed up in their views of whatever the client has enabled them to see.
That's
And
wonderful.
in
Makes their
some
job easier
cases,
too.
with the pension funds, they would
Mm.
like access to deceased data, and we can help provide that to them as well. So we do a lot of
That is
specialty.
amazing. Amazing that all of this is available and it's so inexpensive. So tell us where our audience members can find you. What's your
Yes,
website, contact
they
information?
they can go to estate-registry.com.
Okay.
And there we have articles, we have
Mhm.
information on all of the resources, and we look forward to next steps and continuing these conversations.
Oh, absolutely. I know that this is such a valuable tool and so excited to have you join us today, Alyssa. Thank you so very much. And we'll definitely have you back on to give us some little updates with your company and new things that are going on within it that we can share with our audience. So thank you so much for being here today. And we'll see you on the next one. And everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Probate Nurse Podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. on
Thank you,
YouTube. So
Melanie.
thank you all. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Take care.
Bye.